Okay, good evening to you all. Today is 8th March 2024, and we are going to have this monitoring and evaluation webinar. Uh, like always, I started my presentations with outlines that is what we are going to cover for the day. So the outlines that we are going to cover today, we are going to talk about first. I'm sorry, let me just put everything so that it will be like this. Yeah. So we are going to talk about M&E. We're going to talk about definition of some terms, M&E responsibilities, tools you need to learn, skills you need to have, question and answer, and conclusion, we call it a D. These are what we are going to cover in this webinar today. So first of all, about M&E, that is about monitoring and evaluation. Normally the name is M&E. It can be manager, it can be officer, it can be maybe senior M&E. That's how it is normally. So it can be M&E monitoring and evaluation officer, or monitoring and evaluation manager, or monitoring and evaluation assistant. Like this, these are it's a role. Normally, that's how the name goes. So what is this M&E is all about? If you look at it, first of all, you see that the M&E has to do with two words, that is monitoring and evaluation. That's what it is, monitoring and evaluation. So what this M&E is all about? Uh, for the monitoring, I'm just giving you this, it's just like a definition of the monitoring so that you just have something to understand in it. It's just monitoring is like a continuous process of collecting and analyzing information or data about a particular program or a particular activity. So any type of process of collecting and analyzing information of a particular program that is being conducted or is ongoing, or the program is finished. That's the monitoring part of this definition of the M&E position, or M&E entirely that we're discussing about. And this analyzing and collecting of this information of that particular program, then after you collect it, you analyze it, then you compare it with the actual plan. That is, there is already a plan that needs to be achieved. So when you collect the data, when you analyze the data, then you compare that data with the planned result needed to achieve. This all we are discussing, we are talking about the monitoring part of it. So after the planning, then you judge, that is, you judge how well you did after the implementation of that activity. So you collect the data, you analyze the data, you compare the data with the plan or targeted result that you want, to see whether you achieved the result or you didn't achieve the result. So that's what the monitoring part is all about. So the collecting of information, analyzing the information, and comparing the information. So for the evaluation is for you to determine the overall of the activity. That is for you to determine what is the result. Okay, after everything, after you compare the outcome, after you did everything, then what is the result? What is the impact? That is to have a performance. In fact, it's going to be a performance evaluation, or it's going to be impact evaluation. That is how well you did what you did. Okay, after the process, after the data collected, after comparing the information with the planned activities, then you evaluate how well you did that activity. What you did well, and what you did wrong. What do you need to do well? What do you need to do better, maybe in the nearest future, or what you did wrong in the process? And also it can be impact evaluation, for you to know that what is the impact of that particular activity that you conducted. Did, do you have any impact? Did that activity give any result? Is there any impact that that activity brought about? That's what evaluation will help you to do. So mark it, please. We have performance evaluations and we have impact evaluation. Please understand these two. For the performance, it has to do with how well you did something, and for the impact, it has to do with the impact of what you have done. That is impact of the program or impact of the activity conducted. So this is what this monitoring and evaluation is all about. But some people will call it, you will hear some people call it MEL, that is monitoring, evaluation, and learning. That is, they call it MEL, and some call it MIL. You hear them, they call it MIL, that is monitoring, evaluation, accountability, and learning. So these are the names that you can be hearing from different people. When they say M&E, some will say MEL, some will say MIL. That's how some people call it, but almost the same role, it's the same thing. The only difference is that it just has to do with the name, even though there are different words added in it. That is, this one has monitoring, evaluation, and learning. This learning has to do with you conducting maybe capacity building trainings, maybe conducting a lot of trainings and impacting some knowledge to the within the organization. That's where this learning comes in. And for the accountability, you all know what accountability is. Even this M&E alone is accountable for everything conducted within a particular organization. M&E is the custodian of that. So let me say it in a simple language for everyone to understand this M&E. Whenever you hear this M&E, it has to do with a person who is responsible in tracking the activities of a particular organization. And he is responsible to even plan the activities, not even tracking, to plan the activities, organize the activities, then implement the activities, tracking the activities, and make sure everything is going accordingly for the attainment or for the aims of that particular organization. So if whatever you are doing, whatever you are tracking, or whatever you planned will not help the organization to achieve their aims and objectives, then definitely whatever you are doing as monitoring and evaluation officer or assistant or manager, you are not doing it well. So this is what you need to understand about M&E. And all this, we'll discuss about a lot of things that you need to have, you need to know. You'll know about all that in this session. So just for us to have a definition, I think this is what we are going to discuss about when it comes to monitoring and evaluation. And I believe you have something to take home with. So let's move forward and talk about some definition of some terms. So there are some terms that you need to understand their definition as M&E. The reason why I will talk about this, there are many of them, but I will talk about some that is unbecoming for you as someone who wants to start a career in M&E and you don't know the meaning of these terms. So we're going to discuss about them. First of all is theory of change, and we're going to talk about data collection methodologies and tools. That is data collection tools and data collection methodologies. We'll talk about that. Then we'll talk about performance indicators. You need to know what performance indicators are all about. Then we'll talk about baseline assessment. You need to know what baseline assessment is, and we'll talk about PDM, that is post-distribution monitoring. We'll talk about that. All these are the 5 terms that we are going to discuss. You need to understand them. You need to know what they are. As M&E, you need to understand it. Let me say this. This M&E role, most of the people can do it if they have the knowledge, the theoretical knowledge of it. The practical knowledge of it is all data analytics skills that you need. Of course, we'll talk about that later. But if you understand this definition of terms, then you can pass any interview related to this M&E role. You will pass it in as much as you can explain these terms well. So let's talk about this theory of change. This theory of change has to do with how a program is going to maybe to deliver a planned result or something that the program want to achieve. How is the program going to achieve that? That's what the theory of change is all about. There are things under it that as an M&E, you need to know how you are going to follow such things one after the other, because it has to do with implementation and the final result. That is the outcome of what? Of the program or the activity you are going to carry on. So this theory of change always start with inputs. It starts with inputs. This has to do with the resources available within the organizations. Normally as M&E, even when it has to do with the manpower that is within the organization, the resources and everything, you need to understand what is all about. You need to know the budget, you need to know the human resources, that is the number of personnel needed or the organization have, and everything. You need to understand that that's the input for you to organize how the organization is going to achieve that activity. Let me just give you an example. Let's say we are going to have a program that has to do with malaria eradication within let's say within Gusau Metropolis. I'm just giving you it's just a name of activity, a program that we want to carry out. So it's just a malaria eradication within Gusau Metropolis, for example. So let's say you need to have under these inputs, you need to know what are the resources available to that organization that's going to carry out that malaria eradication. What are the resources? How many personnel they have? How much they have in their budget? And what are the time frame they need to achieve that? And everything you need to know that for you to design how they are going to achieve that. You need to even know, after knowing their budget, that will help you to know what will be the targeted number of beneficiaries of that particular malaria eradication. Maybe the budget is 10 million, for example, you are targeting, let's say, 100,000 people. If the budget is 20 million, then you are targeting much more than that. So you need to know that that's the input, and that's what you need to understand first. Then secondly, you need to know the activities. That is, what are you going to do? What are you going to perform in order for you to achieve the eradication of that malaria within the Gusau Metropolis, that we say within the area. So these activities, you are the one to come up with all the activities that will help in eradicating the malaria. For example, sensitization, community sensitization, community awareness, maybe distribution of mosquito nets, distribution of insecticides, fumigation of the area, and there are lots of different activities under this program of malaria eradication. You are the one to come up with the activities as M&E. These are the activities that you are going to be carried out in order for you to achieve that malaria eradication. So you are the one to plan all the activities needed. So one single program, you can have a lot of activities under that project. You can call it a project. You can have a lot of activities under it, and the aim is to achieve that one main activity that we want to achieve, which is malaria eradication in this example that I gave you. So you need to plan the activities. So like I told you, malaria eradication is the project, while the activities are things that you are going to carry it out in order for you to attain the aim, which is malaria eradication. That's why I say you can have maybe community sensitization, you can have community awareness, you can have distribution of mosquito net, all such outreach and other things that you can carry it out in order for you to eradicate malaria within that community, within the targeted community. So that's one thing about it. So then after the activities, that is, you plan the activities, you know the activities, then now you are going to plan the output of such activities. How are you going to deliver such activities? That's something else. We are going to do that. That's the output. How are you going to deliver such services, and how are you going to deliver such activities within the people of that area? For example, like I said, it's 100,000 people. You can divide the activities. In delivering the activities, you can say, okay, within 3 months, we will take 50. After 3 months, we'll 50,000. After 3 months, we'll take the next 50,000. Because if we carried out the entire 100,000, we cannot have maybe good result or something like that. So the output is for you to know that all these are under the theory of change. That's number 3. So the outcome, that is, after you've performed everything, you did the planning, you did the input, the activities, the outputs. Now you look at the outcomes of all the activities conducted. Look at the outcome. So now in the outcome, under outcome, you look at since it's a malaria eradication, you look at the outcome of the activities. One, what have you done in community awareness, community sensitization? What have you done in distribution of mosquito nets? What did it do? You understand the impact of all such activities you conducted towards the main project that you are carrying out. That's the outcome of what you need to understand. The last thing is the final result. That is for you to look at the final result of the malaria eradication. Did you eradicate? Did you eradicate, or what is the percentage of the eradication? Did you eradicate the malaria within the community? What is the final outcome, the final result, what it is related to that project that you are doing? So you need to understand that, and you need to carry out an assessment on that to know it. So if you look at this, I put red on outcomes and final result, while the input activity and output, I put green color to them. So this input, activities, and output has to do with monitoring. All of them has to do with monitoring, while the outcomes and final result has to do with evaluation. It has to do with evaluation. That has to do with the results, while the other one of the monitoring has to do with implementation of all the activities. So this is what theory of change is all about, and we move forward. All this, like I said, is a theory of terms. You need to understand it. Maybe you can be asked, what are theory of change? How are you going to come up with it? How are you going to plan it? And this is what theory of change is all about. So the next thing is for us to talk about data collection methodologies and tools. I have I did a webinar also on this. I discussed about data collection methodologies. That is when I discussed about ODK. So please, some of you can search the webinar of ODK, D1 and D2. Watch it. Watch D1. Specifically, I talk about that. I talk about data collection methodologies and tools in that. So, but I'll just talk about it in brief and we move. Data collection methodologies has to do with ways of collecting a data. How are you going to collect a particular data? We have a lot of different ways of collecting data. That is the methodologies that we are using to collect data. One, we have surveys. Surveys are mostly the commonly ways of collecting data by organization. They conduct a survey. During that survey, they collect any data that they want. That's how they did it. And apart from survey, we have questionnaire, we have research, we have observations, and we have also focus group discussion, and we have a key informant interview. This focus group discussion are also ways of collection data. Please understand this are also ways of collecting data. The way of collecting data using this is that you go to community, you have like 20 or 15 youth. It can be youth, it can be girls, it can be women, it can be elderly people. You sit with them, you discuss with them on the issues concerning their community. So during that discussion that you are doing, you are just taking note of all what they are saying, you are understanding what they are saying, you are writing it down, you are jotting it down, you are here listening to them. All what they are saying is a way of understanding them, and it's a way of collecting of data. So that's what focus group discussion is on about. And there is this KII, that is key informant interview. It's also a way of collection data. This is the way of collecting this particular data is for you to meet with the stakeholders. That is stakeholders within a particular community. You discussed with them. For example, in a state, we talked to maybe with the like this project that I gave example of malaria eradication. You need to discuss with the key stakeholders of a particular state that has to do with health, because malaria is under health, we know. So you can talk with maybe director health, director this, commissioner of this, and you can talk with maybe all these bulamas that we have, or maybe you can call it Megari, Ome Angwa, or head of the village. You talk with them. This stakeholder that you discussed with them, they will tell you things related to that particular community, and you learn from them. You understand what is going on within the community, because they are the stakeholders, and they will tell you more about what is going on in that particular community. So for a focus group discussion, you collect data from the people of that community, that is common people, just people like that, while the key informant interview collect data from the like stakeholders and people of high caliber within the community. That's how you collect the data. So these are all the ways of collection of data. You need to know them, you need to understand them. Like I said, we have survey, questionnaire, research, observations, and I told about FGD, that is focus group discussion, and KI. All these are ways of data collection. And for the data collection tools, there are different tools of data collection that organizations use to collect data. You need to learn how to do that. Either it's the data collection tool, is it offline, online, hybrid, whatever it is, you need to at least know one or two ways, tools that are used to collect data. Learn how to create a questionnaire or how to create a template so that you can print it and collect data from hard copy, or learn how to create a form of collecting a data, maybe online, or to collect the data maybe doing using different tools. So for this data collection, what I highly advise most of you, please learn that ODK is one of the most commonly used tool that they use to organizations use to collect data. So I believe, please, you can just go ahead and use it. But there are many of them, not only ODK, there are many different tools that people use to collect data. You can learn that, but I have tutorial on ODK. You can watch it from A to Z. You can learn how to do that, because you have that, you need that skill. It will help you as an M&E, because you are the one to design how data is going to be collected. So you need to know how to do that. Then for the performance indicators, let's talk about that. So for these performance indicators, it has to do with performance management and performance measurement. This has to do with, if you know, we talk about the outputs, we talk about the outcome, we talk about the final result. So these indicators are things that you are to you are tracking them, you are tracking such activities to see that are those activities, are you tracking them well, are you doing them, are you implementing them well. You need to know that all that activities that you are doing. For example, like I said, we have malaria eradication. Under that, we have community sensitization. So you are tracking that indicator of community sensitization, that activity. That's your indicator. You are tracking it to see that, are we doing it well? Are we doing that? Because we already have the target, and we have what we are, the achievement, the progress after the target. For example, community awareness, we need to conduct community awareness, let's say 10 community awareness, for example. So you are tracking that community awareness indicator, that is target is 10. So when you have 3 and you have maybe less than 1 month to round off the program, then you know you are far left behind. So you need to do well in order for you to meet the target, to achieve well. So that's what these performance indicators are all about. And to create these performance indicators, sometimes after you create the name of activity, you need to also create the segregation of this activity, that is these indicators that you want to track. You need to create, okay, what are the people that are going to benefit from the activities? Is it going to be children? Is it going to be males and females? Is it going to be boys and girls? All these you need to understand, that you need to know how to do that. Then later on we'll talk about baseline assessment. So this baseline assessment, before the implementation of any activity, the organization needs to know what is going on, the current situation of that community. So to know the current situation of that community, you only know that by way of baseline assessment. That's what it is called, the baseline assessment. It helps the organization to know that what is the current situation before the implementation. That's the baseline assessment. So please take note on that. So whenever you hear baseline assessment, is like initial process of collecting a raw data of knowing what is going on within a particular community that a program or a project is about to be carried on. That's why when you are comparing your final result, you are comparing your final result with the baseline assessment. So let me just give you example. For example, now, this malaria eradication example that I gave, we have malaria eradication that we're going to carry out in Gusau Metropolis, like I said. So first of all, we need to carry out baseline assessment to know how many people have malaria issues. Let's see how many people have malaria issues. For example, let's say we have 20,000 people with malaria issues after when we conducted the baseline assessment. So is after that baseline assessment, we come back to input. We look at our budget, we look at everything, we say, okay, so it's 10,000 people that we have, our budget cannot accommodate them all. Maybe as a M&E, you plan, okay, let's say we carried 5,000 instead of 10,000, we plan the activities, we look at the output, we look at the outcomes, we look at the final, or let's say, no, we are going to carry them all and see what is the impact that this project give to that 10,000 people, because we found out there is issue, there is this. So after everything, we carried out the activities, we are done with the project, we are done. So the final result, will compare that our final result with our assessment. Is there any impact? Is there anything good? Okay, is 10,000 people that have it? So let's carry it out end line assessment, because we have baseline assessment and we have end line assessment. So let's carry it out end line assessment for us to look at the impact of our project and what and achievements with the baseline that we have. So if, for example, when we did the baseline, we have 10,000 people with malaria issues. When we did the end line assessment, we have like 3,000 people or 5,000 or 4,000, then it looks like, yeah, we did great. And the project is kind of give a very positive result and we can continue the project. And sometimes if you did baseline assessment, maybe you have 10,000. After end line assessment, maybe you have 12,000, then it means the project entirely has no impact within the community. So that's what this assessment is. We have baseline and we have end line and baseline. Please understand them and you can write them down. Then we have the last one is PDM, that is post distribution monitoring. This I'll just tell you, this is because it has to do with when you distributed maybe items, or maybe you distributed from our example, I said that we are distributing mosquito nets. So after the distribution of mosquito nets, we conduct what we call the post distribution monitoring, for us to hear from the beneficiaries of that mosquito net the impact of that mosquito net to them. So if there is no impact, then we would substitute that mosquito net to something else. So, but if there is impact, then of course we learn from it and we move forward with that. And this is what this PDM is all about. That's also, you need to understand it, because sometimes you can be asked what is PDM and you need to explain that. And it's always carried out 2 weeks after the distribution, or 3 weeks, maximum 2 weeks. So 2 weeks after the distribution of any item, then you carried out the post-distribution monitoring, for you to learn the impact of what distributed to people. So let's move forward. Another thing we are going to talk about, so we talk about the responsibilities of M&E. So some of the responsibilities of M&E is for him to learn how to design the project. So you are to design it, like I told you, under input. After you looked at the budget, you look at the manpower, you look at the resources, then you design the project or the program or the activities you need to do that. Then you need to organize. After that, you organized everything. Sometimes when you are to conduct something, you need to organize how that particular thing is going to be carried out. Maybe you're going to conduct a survey. You're going to organize everything right from hiring of enumerators, training of them, maybe dispatching them, monitoring them in the field, collecting the data and everything. You need to learn that. Organization of everything is on you. You are the one to put everything on the right path and submit it. Then you are the one to manage. After organizing, you are the one to manage everything. Everything is coming back to you, because when you organize it, you design it, you are the one to create how every data or every information is going to be managed. So you are the one to manage every information. You are the one to capture it, collect it, and do everything with it. Then tracking, you are the one to track also. You track every activity. Is it going well? Is it going accordingly, the way it was designed, the way it was planned, the way it was organized? You need to track everything and see how it works. Then you need to supervise also. After that, you need to analyze, you need to report. All these are your responsibilities as M&E. You need to know that. You need to do all this. So next thing, we are to talk about tools you need to learn. So the tools you need to learn at M&E, most of this M&E works is not most tools that some people think is a big tools. You need to know them. No, it's just normal tools that you knew. It's just for you to have the theoretical aspect of it and to learn how to work with the tools. It's not that big tools that you need. First of all, you need to the tool that you want. You need to learn Microsoft Word. This tool will help you to create to write a lot of reports, to write a lot of memos, to write a lot of activities, to do a lot of things. You need to learn it, because as an M&E, you will be working with Microsoft Word almost every day. You will open it, you will close it, you will do a lot of things with it. So please master it. That's number one thing that you need to learn. Secondly, you need to learn Microsoft PowerPoint, because reporting is part of your responsibilities. You must learn how to organize a very good looking report, because you are sharing report always related to anything going on within the organization. You need to learn Microsoft PowerPoint. Don't say you don't know it, please. You need to. Then Excel. This is, I say, the big one that you need to know. You need to learn Excel well. Please learn it. Learn it well. You need to learn how to use Excel, because almost everything you are going to use, most of the organization we have in Nigeria are using this. Even outside Nigeria, most of the organization, in as much as they are non-governmental organization, they are using Microsoft Excel. So please learn it well. It will help you a lot, because 90% of your job, you will do it with Excel. Then ODK, learn this open data kit. Learn it, because organization used to collect data using ODK every time, always. So please learn ODK, will help you a lot. So final thing is learn any other analytical software. It's just an advantage to you. Maybe you learn SPSS, you learn Power BI, you learn Stata, other analytical softwares that we have, SQL and whatever. You can learn them. It's just an additional advantage to you, but it's not a must that you must learn that for you to get this job. No. So another thing is skills you need to have. So these are the skills that has to do with, we all know such skills. These are the the soft skills that you need to have, that has to do with communication skills, analytical skills, report and presentation skills. You need to be creative, and you need to have data management skills. All these are skills, please, you need to know, because this communication skill will help you a lot. As an M&E, you are always writing reports, you're always giving your view, observations, a lot of things you'll be communicating with lots of people. A lot of people will be asking you, you need to have that. You need to have analytical skills, report and presentation skills. You need to have that. You need to be creative because projects will be coming under the same organization. You will have different projects. You need to, a project will just come and will be assigned to you as the one to plan it, create a lot of things, create the activities under it, organize it, how it's going to be implemented, and everything is your work. So you need to be very creative and think. You need to be creative, seriously. Then data management, you need to have data management skills, how to store all the information within the organization, how to store the data, how to analyze it, how to report it. You need to have that skill as an M&E. You need to have that. All this is just theoretical ways. These tools that I mentioned, you need to have. Just learn such tools. If you learn the tools, all these skills, you will have them. If you have you just learn them theoretically and you can implement them with the tools if you learn the tools well. So the next thing is the question and answer. I don't know if you have any question. Please, if you have a question, you can drop your question in the chat. If you don't have, I think we can call it a day. If you don't have any question, we can call it a day. I don't want us to renew the time, so that I will upload the video. For those of you that come late, you can watch the video from A to Z. So if you don't have, do you have any question, please, in the chat? If you have any question, please say it in the chat. We only have some seconds to go. If you have any question, just say it in the chat. If you don't have any question, I think we can call it a day. Okay, I cannot see any question, and we have some few seconds to go. So I'll share the link of the